Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Kayo on Haven. Today is day 130 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Kayo is an agent I sadly kind of forgotten. I've only made 3 videos on him yet so far, and I have made 4 on every other agent except for Kayo. So we're gonna have another Kayo video soon. Other than that, I think Kayo is probably one of the most annoying agents to play against because of especially his detain ability with his ult and also his knife that can be used pretty effectively against a lot of ults. For example, a Jet ult, maybe even a Raze ult, and just in general is pretty annoying to play against. And also his flashes that are pretty hard to dodge if you have the lineups is insanely strong. Other than that, also a good Kayo can be quite as effective as a good breach in clearing out corners and making it hard for the enemies to hold the site. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense, you can use this early reveal right here. You aim at around this dish right here and then aim about this high, and then you just throw. Your knife will land right on top and will detain anyone that is coming in, and will also make it pretty hard for the enemies to rush A side. This is a pretty effective knife. You can use that almost every round in the beginning of the round, and in general it is a pretty good. If you detect a lot of people and you have a teammate on long that went for a peek, for example a Jet, and then dash back, you can use a flash from back here behind this area right here on the side, and then just throw a flash at around this height over towards long. The flash will land perfectly up here and will flash anyone that is playing on long and trying to peek out. So it is really good for your chat or for your duelist to re-peek that after the flash. They just have to look like into the wall and then they can peek out and get a free kill. Other than that, if you want to play long for yourself, you can also use flashes like these, which is a pretty good thing with the new flash mechanic, but it is also pretty easy to dodge because you can hear the flash pretty well. Other than that, you can obviously also do the same thing on short. I recommend if you do it on short that you use a flash like this and peek out like this. This is still, again, pretty easy dodgeable, but it can be used pretty effectively sometimes. Other than that, another really good pop flash I found is when you go all the way in this corner right here, you turn around and then use a flash like this. You can easily peek out and do a lot of damage to the enemies that are playing close. Other than that, using your nade to stop the enemies from coming in, either using it right here, or towards long, it's pretty effective and can stall out the enemies for quite some time. Another really good stall thing is, especially when you're coming for a retake, or when you are coming to the site and you still have your knife, is to just throw it right here at this wall somewhere in long. The reason why this is really good is because it detains most of the long area, especially the spots where Sova drones from, like right here. Also the spots where usually the Omen player is, so somewhere along this wall. And it is really hard to dodge and can barely be broken. Sometimes when people are already up short, they will break this knife, but even if they do, and you are playing close here, you can just throw this knife, they try to break the knife, you peek around the corner and you get a free kill. Other than that, using your Kayo ult on retakes and not really stop a push is a pretty good thing. Now going over to a retake on A. Retakes on A are pretty simple. Usually you just wait for your Sova reveal that lands somewhere up here. Same thing also with a Fade reveal. You can do that reveal more effective by also throwing a flash right as they are revealing. So the enemies that are trying to go for a destroy on the reveal are gonna get full blinded, and you have an easier time to entry. Just using your knife towards either this wall, because it is not destructible from here, or over towards the side right here, if you know nobody is under, is pretty effective because you get most of the front side, even the people on under. And if you have, for example, an Omen flash going through under, you can also use that knife. This knife right here will get destroyed more often, but you can also get information on who destroys that knife, so if you know somebody is close here or somebody's in under. There's a really strong crossfire going on that you can hold on the retake right here. So if there is a smoke right here, you can use a flash like this, flashing out of the smoke, or a flash like this to destroy that crossfire. Same thing also if there is still a smoke here. If you run into this wall and use a flash like this, it will most likely go out of the smoke depending on how good the smoke is, and it will be an insane pop flash, flashing anyone that is in graffiti and anyone that is holding the crossfire from under right here. Other than that, using your knife towards long, if you already have the sight, again at this wall somewhere, is pretty effective because you can stop the enemies from having any util to throw on the spike. Now switching over towards B. B is the spot where you are going to play the most, because it is a pretty fast rotate and your utility as an initiator can be used on both sides pretty easily. So you can just use a knife either up here, you can see this roof, it is pretty hard to destroy and it will land a little deeper, so aim it around this flag right there and then throw. This knife will land pretty deep up here, will reveal the people on A main, and will also reveal the people on mid. And in my opinion, it is one of the best early reveal knives because it will stop a B push from window and also a push pretty easily. Other than that, you can also use a molly in the beginning of the round in window to stop the people from pushing out if you have a teammate that is going down mid. But throwing a molly also makes it pretty obvious that you are going down mid, so I don't really recommend doing that all of the time. If you're actually going for a mid push, you can use a flash like this. It will not flash any of your teammates and will flash all of the enemies, and it can be used pretty effectively. You have to make sure that you're walking while you are throwing this flash, else your flash is not going to go far enough. Other than that, there's not really much you can do. What you can do sometimes is if you have a teammate that is playing in this close corner right there, you can call that you have a flash for them and then throw the same flash at the same place where you throw a knife. It will pop either behind them or on this side, so if they are looking towards this flower pot right here, they should be safe from the flash, and then they can just peek out and keep people in grass. It is a really strong flash you can use for a repeat. So your teammate gets a kill first then, right there, and then you repeat with that flash. Other than that, using your knife in the beginning of the round right here is also not too bad. This knife gets destroyed more easily because the people that are playing here and that are coming out, they're going to see your knife and they're just going to go like here and get a free kill on your knife. So what you can do sometimes with that knife is to have a teammate that is pushing out of mid. For example, a neon. What I like to do on a neon is to throw a stun right here. So combine that with a knife, the enemies are going to go out, destroy the knife, and then they're going to be in the stun area from the neon, and they're going to be a free kill for your neon. Other than that, also peeking out of the area right here with a flash like this is pretty good. Or also an underhand flash like this, just peeking out, can be very good. Other than that, using your nade right here to stop the enemies from coming in is pretty effective. Also, same thing if you are playing on C and the people are in garage, you can use a nade right here to stop them from coming out as well. Talking about C, you can also use your nade on C long as well right here. And you can also throw a flash from CT to make it possible for your teammate to peek out long by just throwing a flash like this. This flash is pretty easy dodgeable, and if you are moving, it will fly pretty far. So I recommend you are actually like standing still for a second and then you throw it like this. This one is a little harder to dodge, but it flashes most of the people that are coming out of long. Just keep in mind, if there is a smoke on long and the people are coming out of that smoke and you flash like that, it can be that the people can dodge the flash and then peek out and get an instant kill on your teammate without them being flashed. Other than that, using your knife either towards this cubby right here can be pretty good, or also all the way back to get information over the people going C is a pretty effective thing to get early information. Or if the enemies are trying to come in, just detaining them when they are trying to go in, so you have some mutual going out and then throwing a knife like this is also pretty effective. To make that knife even better is to throw it behind these boxes, so it is harder to shoot for the enemies. What you can also do is flashes like these. Pick out long. Same thing also with a flash like this. Or a flash like this. Or even a flash like this. But for a flash like this, I recommend you have a smoke on long, because yeah, if you're peeking out on this side, you're not going to flash the people on long, you're only going to flash the people on side. So if this part right here is smoked off and you're like flashing from this side, the enemies that are coming out of the side are going to get flashed, but the enemies on long that are holding the backside are not going to get flashed. So it is a pretty effective flash, but just use it with caution and always remember to have a smoke on long. Switching over towards attack. On attack, it can be pretty effective that you reveal this long area right here, especially with a Kayo, because your Kayo knife detains and it makes it impossible for the enemies to use any ability to get out of the spot. So if you want to reveal long, you get yourself lined up on this wall right here. It is not too precise. Then you aim at this corner, the dark corner right where you see this thing come down. And then you jump up and throw while you're coming down. And it will land on top of this roof right here. Will be really hard to destroy unless they have a player that is playing backside ready to destroy this knife. And anyone that is playing on long, for example the Sova that is throwing a dart, a Chet that is trying to peek along with an op, or the Yoru that is trying to get into this corner and play off of the teammate that is playing on long, is going to get detained, and they're going to have a hard time getting out because they don't have their movement abilities anymore, or they're just going to have a hard time holding the site because they don't have any abilities. So using that reveal can be pretty strong. Another really good reveal, especially if you are on an eco round, or if the enemies are on an eco round, is this one right here, where you just throw a knife towards lower. This knife will tag anyone that is playing close here. Also the people that are playing close here, most of the times if the enemies have a breach, you can get the breach like that because they are holding a stun for this area right here to make it for their teammate to peek out. Or you will also reveal the people that are playing on this side of B. So you will get a lot of information off of that knife, where the enemies are playing at, and you can get a lot of detains off of that as well. Other than that, you can also throw a flash towards long. Flashing long is not too difficult, just throw a flash around this area right here, and it will flash all the people that are playing on long pretty effectively. Other than that, you can just basically take the site, and then for the site take, you can use your nade to clear out this close corner right here if you have information. This is also pretty good if the enemies have a Cypher, because he likes to place Cypher trips right here, and a lot of good Cypher trips that are coming from this gen area also end right here, so you can get rid of most of the Cypher trips. Other than that, you can also decide to nade backside to stop the enemies from pushing out, or even in towards heaven to stop the enemies from pushing out of heaven. Other than that, if you still have your knife and you have like your Sova reveal long, you can use it towards the site. This one will reveal almost anyone on site and will make it pretty easy for you to take the site. And if you want to go out of long, you can either use a flash left click like this, right, like this out of the smoke, or even towards backside like this, and then have your chat dash with it. It will not flash your teammates, but it will flash anyone that is playing on the backside, and it's pretty effectively combined with a chat dash towards this area right here. And if you have a chat that is dashing that to that spot, you can also throw a flash above them. So the enemies are gonna look at the chat, they're gonna get flashed, and then the chat can just peek out of the smoke and get some free kills. Other than that, also flashing towards the side like this is pretty effective if you want to entry by yourself. If you are going short, I recommend that you throw your knife towards short so you have information, or that you have a infinite initiator, for example a Sova with his drone, or a Fade with her dogs to clear out these two close corners. Else, don't go alone to lower tunnels. It is a pretty dangerous spot for, especially on eco rounds, a shorty, maybe a stinger or a bucky. So I recommend you never go alone down here. And then when you're coming short, you can either use a molly right here, if you know somebody is close there, to get the people that are playing in graffiti. And also use your flashes out of the smoke if there is one, or if there isn't one, you can also use your flashes like this to take the site. Always call your flashes so your teammates don't get flashed by them, so they know, yeah, you're going for a flash, and they can dodge it. This flash right here is also a pretty good one, but it is kind of a dangerous one to throw because, again, you're standing here not looking where the enemies are most likely to peek, and you also have to move a little. But you are not gonna get flashed by yourself there. Other than that, using your nade to stop the people from coming out of CT or again out of heaven is pretty effective. For your knife, if it has recharged after you have taken the site and planted, by the way, it is also pretty good to go for plants on a Kayo because Kayo ult is an insanely strong ult to take the site. You can use your knife towards either here, detaining anyone that is in the A-link area, and also the people that are trying to come out of CT, and it is also almost impossible to shoot that knife, or even throw it all the way up there to detain more of the people that are playing towards the CT area close, and the people that are trying to go up to the tower. Other than that, if you still have your knife, you can use, if you still have your nade, you can use it for post plant. And if you still have flashes, you can use them as for post plant as well. So as soon as you hear somebody's coming out of CT, using flashes like this to peek the people that are playing CT is pretty effective. For your ult, if you are using your ult, I'd actually recommend you go short, because if you are going short, you are detaining more of the people, especially towards B. Because as you can see, if I pop my ult right here, all of the area around me, and even a little bit more, like you can see on this map, will be detained. So the people that are playing B, the people that are playing A, and even the people that are walking down mid are gonna get detained. So using your ult in this way will make it so the enemies have basically no util to hold the site. Now switching over towards mid. In mid, you can use a flash like this one in the beginning of the round to take the mid control pretty easily, or just throw it like this. It will flash almost anyone that is walking down mid, and is pretty hard to dodge. Even if the enemies are dodging it, it will not really flash your teammates, and they can just peek out and get a free kill on the enemies. Other than that, you can also use your knife towards B, either like this, towards B backside, towards B frontside. The B frontside knife gets shot most often, and if you want to have a knife that kind of detects the people that are playing towards this area right here without really you peeking, you can also just get into this spot right here, throw a knife like this. Another knife that can also be used for B is one like this, where you throw it in this corner right there. But it will only reveal like half of the site. And probably the best knife, or the knife that you get most information on, but also the easiest one to shoot, is one right in the middle right here. Because it will get almost all of the site except for backside, and you will get a lot of information like that. But this knife can also be used to like get information. Even if it gets broken, you will hear from where the enemy has shot from, and you will have an easy time figuring out how to kill that person. Other than that, if you are going B, there's most likely going to be a smoke here, so flashing out of the smoke like this, or like this, can be pretty good. And also throwing your nade towards the links, to the close corners if you know somebody is there, or even towards backside if you know somebody is in backside, is a pretty effective thing. And again, flashing around corners can be pretty good. For B, planting right there is pretty strong, because then you can basically just throw a nade from wherever you are, either from mid, or if you're trying to push the link area, you can also throw a nade there from link. And in general, pushing the link area is a pretty good thing you can do on B, especially on eco rounds, either pushing towards A link, so you only have to focus on one side, and the enemies have a harder time retake. To do that, you can use flashes into the smoke like this, or even if you don't have a smoke right here, you can use normal flashes like this. This flash right here is one of the stronger ones because it allows you to peek out with it. As you can see, the flash pops all the way over here, so you are able to peek out with the flash. It is kind of risky. If the enemies are looking away, you have a free kill. But if they are not looking away and getting flashed, they might have a chance of shooting you. Same thing also with the C-link area. You can use a flash like this. It is pretty easy to dodge, but it is also pretty good that you can peek with it pretty far out. And then one last flash, you can use one if you're playing backside. You're stuck backside, the enemies are coming in from both sides. Just step like, go right here. And then run a little forward, use a flash like this. It will pop above you and will make it possible for you to peek both sides. Other than that, also using flashes like these or these can work pretty well. Now switching over to his garage. On garage you can use a knife like this in the beginning of the round. This is a pretty good knife and it can be broken pretty easily, but if it gets broken, you know somebody is playing in garage, and you can then use flashes or some other util to get them out of this area. Also, using a flash like this can be pretty strong. Same thing with a flash like this or a flash like this. If you're in garage, you can use a nade into the window area to stop the enemies in the window from pushing out, or use a nade into this area close here to get the killjoy turret broken. Same thing also if the killjoy turret is there. Just use a nade to break the killjoy turret. If you're in garage, you have two options to push two different things, and you can use flashes for both of them. One option is to push the window area. To do that, you can use either a flash like this. That will not flash the person that is playing below, but anyone else here, so you have to be kind of careful with that one. Or use a flash like this. That will not flash any of your teammates behind, and will most likely flash the person that is holding you from over here, because they will not be able to see the flash coming and it will pop right in their face. Other than that, something I really like doing is jumping up as I am flashing, to have a pretty good flash and make it pretty easy for me to get into the window area. Or just flash for a teammate like that I showed you before. And then I myself am just holding this area right here to stop the enemies from reclaiming the garage area. If you want to go towards C, you can use flashes like this out of the smoke if there is one. If there isn't one, just using a flash like this will also do, or using a flash like this if you want to peek the backside. But you have to be careful about this spot right here and the spot here behind plateau. Also, a pretty strong spot for the enemies to hold you from garage is this close corner right here. If you know somebody is there, or if you don't have any information but you want to clear it out, you can use a nade like this and just hold the enemies if they are playing in that corner. Or you can even use a close nade like this to get all of the area, and you just need to hold like this. And now switching over towards C. C is pretty simple. Using a knife towards the side like this can be used pretty effectively. Also using a knife here close to detain the enemies that are playing here close, if you know somebody is playing there. Or if you know somebody is plateau, just using a knife down there to make it pretty hard for them to shoot, and they are gonna get detained. Other than that, if there is a smoke right here, you can decide to flash out of the smoke. Or you can also decide to do something like this. Use a flash from this corner and then tell your teammates to go out. It will flash most of the enemies that are playing towards the side, if they are holding the long, if they are holding long from back here, and even if they are holding long from right here, to like kind of play anti-flash, they will still get flashed by that flash. Other than that, if they're playing backside right here, waiting for some noise to peek out, a flash up there will also be pretty effective. And then if you have teammates, if you have enemies on backside, especially if you have a side smoke right here, you can use a flash like this. You have to tell that to your teammates though, else your whole team on long will get flashed, and then your teammate that is already on site, most likely your Chet or your Neon, can then dodge that flash, peek out, and kill all of the people that are playing backside. Some really good nades you can use are ones towards backside, right here, towards plateau, if you know somebody is in the corner, towards this close corner, if you have a Cypher trip on long or an enemy playing in that corner, or towards CT, to stop the enemies from pushing out of CT or getting out of the site and play for retake. And then for knives that you can use if the enemies are retaking, I like this one because it is hard to shoot if the enemies are already on backside. If they are not yet on backside, using a knife here close can be used pretty effectively. Also, somewhere at this wall, if you want to have more reveal towards the window area and stop the people that are coming out of garage, or if they are already backside and you are playing towards the side, you can use a knife right here. For Kayo's ult, it is pretty simple. Just use them as you are walking in, and you can be the first person in as a Kayo and have your duelist kind of be the second person in and kind of bait you. If you get a kill, that is good. If you don't get a kill, your duelist can easily trade you out, and then the rest of your team that is coming in behind you can easily get a revive off. Other than that, using Kayo ults to fake something is also a pretty effective thing you can do. So you are running down A with a Kayo ult and maybe some smokes, and maybe even a reveal is pretty effective because the enemies are going to think like, yeah, for sure they're going to be A, and then the rest of your team is just waiting on C, waiting for them to rotate, and you can get an easy time faking a site like that. If I had to give Kayo a rating from S to F on Haven, I'd actually give him the A tier. His flashes are pretty strong, his reveal is also pretty good, and in a lot of places on Haven it can't really be broken and the enemies have just have to dodge it. He can be also countered pretty easily if you don't have any other info initiator util, so using a Kayo as an info initiator and as a solo initiator is not the best thing. I still recommend you are using a Sova or a Fade over him, but still he can be used pretty well. And also if you have a lot of combos you can do with, for example, a Chet or a Neon with his flashes, he can be one of the most effective agents to play on this map. That would be it from me. If you want to see any other agent on any other map, write it down in the comments. And if you want to see anything else Vans related, write it down there as well. And as always, don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!